Okay, verse of the day. Know this, my beloved brothers. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. You ever just feel like you hear a verse and you're just like, that was so meant for me? Or like you're doing a Bible study and you're like, oh my gosh, like I need this so much right now. I have our verses of the day, our passages of the day, our study series, all of that stuff. Like everything is planned out legit for like a ridiculously long time. Like really long time. So like this is all pre-planned. Like God made the plan already. Like literally, like I have it written down, right? It's like I have the plan. And then we get to certain verses and I'm just like, "Oh man, God, you lined that up." Like, man, right? I feel like this is one of those things, especially right now as we're going through so much crazy, right? Like so much crazy. Um and just like I feel like just for no particular reason, like literally, like I cannot pinpoint a reason for my patience and my just my attitude lately has just been like it's so I find myself it gets more and more difficult to to be slow to speak and slow to anger, right? Like I get frustrated so easily lately and I don't like there's no real reason for that, but I love that we're going through this series because it's really like keeping me grounded and reminding me, and this verse is so relevant for me, right? And I hope that it's a good reminder for you guys as well. You know, be slow to speak and slow to anger, and be quick to listen to people, right? Listen to people, listen to God, right? And as it relates to relationships, I feel like it's absolutely so relevant in our relationships to don't just jump to be the last one to speak or the first one to speak, right? Don't get frustrated, don't get angry, don't get impatient. um, don't do that, and don't be quick to snap at people, right? Be quick to listen to what somebody else has to say, and be slow to speak. You don't always need to say something, right? Something does not always need to be said by you, right? So be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And slow to become angry, I just really want to stress, like, it's not necessarily just like anger, right? Like the rage anger, but it's also like that frustration, that impatience, right? That kind of that snappiness. So it all kind of wraps together a bit. It's not just, you know, just rah ragey, right? So be slow to anger, be slow to speak. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. Don't just bleh all over the place. Like we call that word vomit, right? Like don't do that. Be slow to speak. And just really think about what you say before you say it. And it continues on and says, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. And do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says, right? So, in other words, don't just be hearers of the word, be doers of the word. And there's so much guidance throughout scripture and how, we don't just hear this simple instruction of just like of just be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Throughout scripture, we have so much instruction on how do we do that, how do we apply that to our lives. And when we spend more time in the word, we spend more time learning and understanding and growing in these ways. And if you have questions of like, well, I'm just so frustrated all the time and I don't know how to control my mouth, right? Then seek God out in that. Pray about that, and ask for him to help you and guide you and guard your mouth, right? Ask him to guard your mouth. I just realized I have not stepped once. Okay, so we're going to get step into. So there's our verse of the day. Brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Okay, we are going to hop over now to Romans chapter 12. And with Romans chapter 12, I actually wanted to spend a good chunk of time over there. I am like really cold. I'm going to turn this fan off really quick. Hold on. Oh, man. That's okay. I'm just chilly. I got fans blowing. It's chilly. It's not 80 degrees yet like it will be later. Oh, okay. So today we are going to spend some time in Romans chapter 12. So if you are following along, that's where we're going to be at. And we're just going to kind of read through. We have a particular focus, which is verse 18. So our specific focus today is verse 18. So when we get there, that's where we're going to really dive in there. Okay? So, but I want to read through the whole thing of chapter 12, and that's going to be our main focus this morning. And remember, our topic is relationships. So, maybe this will speak to you in a particular way, and maybe it will have nothing to do with the specific topic, our specific theme for the day. But I hope that something pops out at you that God is just trying to speak to you today. So Romans chapter 12. We are going to read the NIV translation today. You know what? Hold that thought. I just felt an urge. I felt an instruction. We're going to pop over. I don't know why, but I just felt a skirt. Let's pop over to ESV today. We spent a lot of time in NIV, and I try to change it up a little bit. If you guys have specific translations that you super prefer, that's cool too. In fact, I'll do this. We're gonna do ESV, and then if you're following along, I also like to have a parallel of NKJV. That's what one of my study Bibles is the NKJV. So we'll kind of have a more traditional and a more kind of quote unquote modern translation, right? These are basically like my two favorite translations to look at side by side. Okay, so Romans chapter 12. All right. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect. Okay, so let's just pause for a second. I appeal to you to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. So basically, use your body to worship God, right? That's not like that can look like a lot of different things, right? But use your body to worship God. God wants us to actively participate in worshiping Him, right? And that's going to look different to each of us. But as it relates to relationships, honor God and worship God physically in your relationships as well. Participate in worship with your family, right? Participate in worship around your family, right? Like my kid sees me, singing, songs and that glorify God, and we, with being at home, we sit and watch church on the couch together, and we actively participate in that. And she gets up and she starts dancing around when the music is playing, and things like that, and I'm singing along with it, and there's all kinds of things, and even just not being violent, right? Like that's a way it's holy and acceptable to God. Don't use your body for evil. Use it to worship God. Remember that like your body is a vessel for him, right? It is a temple. It is his temple. Use your body to worship, to actively participate in worshiping God. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Pause. Do not be conformed to this world. Don't go. Chris, yes and no. It's not just royalty free that makes it okay. There's actually a lot of things that go into that. So, yes, Googling it is one way, but also there's a lot more that there's a lot more in the background that I need to check on and make sure I am legally allowed to play it in this kind of setting. So, yes and no. And trust me, I've been looking, so it's like I said, it's not that easy to find stuff that I'm legally allowed to play on stream. If I play music that I am not legally allowed to play on stream, and I'm sorry for pausing, I just want to address that comment. If I play things that I'm not legally allowed to play on stream, I risk getting shut down. Like, that is literally happening to people that are playing things that they're not allowed to play. Even if they don't realize that they're not allowed to play it, people are getting their complete channels shut down because they're playing things they're not allowed to. So, I don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna, go on the side of caution there and make sure, be diligent that what I am playing, that I'm allowed to play. For example, I want to put this out there. For example, I love our Daily Bread daily devotionals. No, it's not music, but you would think that I would be perfectly allowed to read those like on the screen, to read those during the stream, or play their audio recording on the stream. But I reached out and I said, hey, I just want to double check. Am I allowed to do this? And they said no, right? I am not allowed to have that content on my stream, even though it's on the internet. Like, we're just reading what they published, right? Like, we're just reading it, giving them credit. Like, it's there, it's them, it's obvious, it's 100% them, and we're just going through it together, right? You would think that that's okay. It's not, right? There's a lot of different rules that go into, if somebody else owns something, there's a lot that goes into being allowed to use it in your own content. So you just have to be really careful. Which I'm kind of bummed about that way, because I really wanted to actually, I encourage you to go read Our Daily Bread daily devotionals. They're amazing. And I wanted to be doing them on streams like we actually used to, and apparently I wasn't allowed to. But they've gotten a lot more diligent about like cracking down on that stuff. So we have to figure out how to do these things in a legal way. Otherwise we risk getting completely shut down. So we don't want that to happen. Let's not give the devil some ammunition to shut us down, shall we? Okay, so anyway, back to our Romans chapter 12. Do not conform to this world. Don't just do what people around you are doing just because that's what people around you are doing, right? Don't fall into the trap of, oh, well, this is what culture says is acceptable. This is what my community says is acceptable. This is what my friends want me to do. This is what my family wants me to do. And if it goes against what God calls on you to do, don't do it. Like, simple as that. Don't do it. Do not conform to this world. Don't do what the world wants you to do if it's against what God wants you to do. What God wants you to do is much more important and much more rewarding as well. The renewal, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. So be transformed. Let God transform you. When you come to Christ, when you come into a relationship with Christ, you are transformed. Like, I can attest to that. Like, I don't even know, like, until you get there, like, you don't necessarily understand what that means. But once you get there yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, like, this is what that means? Holy wow. Like, I definitely feel different, right? When you come into a relationship with God, you are transformed. You are made new. You become new in Christ, and let that transformation take hold. And as you're transformed, you'll be tested, and you will stumble, and you will fall, and you will fail sometimes. But just through that testing, by testing, you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So as you go through those tests and trials, you will begin to learn more about what God wants you to do. And it will become more natural for you to do what God wants you to do, because you'll have learned more and more along the way, right? So he will teach you how, over time, he will teach you what is right in your relationships, what is healthy, what is honoring to him in your relationships. It's not, boom, you just know it all, and you just go do it. Just figure it out. You have it all figured out. You will go through tests and trials and loss and gain and all of that, so that you will over time be able to learn what is the will of God, and what is good and acceptable and perfect to God, and how do I do that. But you have to let him transform you, and let him transform you in your relationships, and don't just do what people around you want you to do. Do what he calls you to do above everything else. We talked about yesterday how when you put your relationship with God first, that then overflows into your other relationships, right? Into your earthly relationships, your relationships with other people. When you put your relationship with God first, you learn how to have healthy relationships with people. But if you don't focus on your relationship with God first, you are setting yourself up for some broken relationships. You have to put your relationship with God first. Oh, excuse me. Give yourself to God. In this first part of this chapter here, it's just talking about give yourself to God. Give yourself completely to God. Be that living sacrifice for him, and let him transform you so that you can learn what he calls on you to do, and how he calls on you to live in each of your relationships. Okay. Moving forward. Verse 3. For by the grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think with sober judgment, each according to the measure of faith that God has assigned. In other words, don't think yourself high and mighty. Don't think that you're better than somebody else. Don't think that you're smarter than God or smarter than other people, right? Do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to. Be sober-minded, have sober judgment. So, don't just, be intoxicated with your own, pride. Don't just be waltzing around just, I'm so good. Well, I know better. And, I'm so smart. I'm smarter than that. I would never do that. Or, what's their problem? I know better than that, and why would people do that, and da 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 da, and we get so high and mighty about ourselves and act like, well, I know, so why don't they know? Like, well, you know what? That's a terrible way to think. Oh gosh, I hope my computer's not trying to restart. That would suck. Just got a little notification. Restart now. No, don't restart now. Things get pinker. Also, good morning. Yes, things did get pinker. Yes, good morning. There are several. I'm using a new program, and so everything is kind of refreshed again. Sorry. I feel like things are kind of misaligned, though. Like, my chat box is, really awkwardly positioned at the moment. That's annoying. I'll have to fix that later. But, Yes, it did get pinker. Also, Alex, I know you like to use the little Mochaccino channel points. Check out all the new stuff and tell me what you think. Yeah. Okay, so we are in Romans chapter 12, Alex, if you care to jump in with us here. And I am stepping away. Gotten about 1,000 steps in already. That's good. Okay. So in other words, don't think yourself all high and mighty. Don't act like you're better than other people. God will knock you down if you put yourself too high on that pedestal. Okay? For as in one body we have many members, and the members do not all have the same function. I love that verse so much. So we, though many, are one body in Christ, and individually members one of another, having gifts that differ according to the grace given to us. Let us use them. If prophecy, in proportion to our faith; if service, in our serving; the one who teaches, in his teaching; the one who exhorts, in his exhortation; the one who contributes, in generosity; the one who leads, with zeal; the one who does act of mercy, with cheerfulness. We all have our own set of skills. We all have our own unique gifts. We all have our own task, right? And you may have what seems like a bigger task, or somebody else may appear to have a much bigger task than you, okay? But we're all part of the same body. We all have our own function, and every little function, every big function is the same level of importance. They are all important. Every single bit is important. And we cannot forget that one person may have one responsibility and another will have a different responsibility, a different gift, a different skill, a different calling, right? It even goes on: prophecy, service, teaching, exhortation, generosity, leadership, mercy, right? These are great examples of, these are different focuses, right, that different body parts will have. You may see that somebody else is like constantly just totally enveloped in service, right? And you're like, man, they make me feel like I do not serve enough. But maybe your calling is something completely different. Maybe it's to contribute in some way, right? Maybe you can't necessarily go out and serve, but maybe you can give in a way. Maybe give to a food bank, donate to a charity, whatever the case is, right? Or maybe you're called to leadership and somebody else is called to teach, right? Maybe leadership and teaching are not gonna go hand in hand for you. Maybe you would like to teach, but you're called to be more of an overhead, more of a leader, and somebody else is called to do the teaching part, right? Everybody has their own function and their own calling. We have to honor that in ourselves, in our own lives, but we also have to honor what other people are called to do. Honor that in your relationships. Be excited, be encouraged and encouraging when other people are doing their calling or figuring out their calling, right? I have 9.5K points. I think you'd keel over if I used them all up. Hey girl, you could use them like over time, okay? I will say I thought of you, and there's a cap on a couple of those. You can only use them like 2 times in a stream or something, a couple of those. So can you make me do like 100, seated crunches or whatever? No. No, I would die. But seriously, feel free to use those channel points and tell me what you think. There is one for adding new ones. You can request new ones if you think of something. You can totally think of new ones. Also, I totally did what you guys asked, and I made an amen emote. I put it in the Gilded for you guys to see what you think. But go easy on me. I made it myself. I don't know how you guys actually like my emotes, but I do have a friend. I have a friend who does like professional level emotes and logos and all that kind of stuff. So I may upgrade those if I can get to a point where, because I would never want to do, and obviously like those things cost money, right? So I got to get to a point where I can do the professional level stuff. But I'm pretty happy with my little emotes, even though I made them myself. It's okay. But use your points. Use your points. That's what they're there for. I spent a bunch of time this morning playing with those and getting some fun ones in there. You can make me do some intense things in there. So, yes. We are all called to our own calling. We are all called to our own path. But each of us are part of the same body of Christ. And we are called to do our own part and not be pointing fingers at somebody else. Maybe we think that somebody else isn't doing their part. You know what? That's not up to you. You focus on your part. Let them focus on their part. Now, you have no idea what God is calling on them to do, or what they're struggling with, or how bad maybe they're fighting God on it. But that's not up to you. That's up to them and God. So let them worry about that, and you just lead by example. Be the best example that you can be, and honor God, honor Christ, right? And just do your part. And that's how you can be the best example, is do your part. Do what you are called to do. Use the gifts that God gave you to use. Okay. Verse 9. Let love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Hold fast to what is good. Love one another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. I love this first part. Let love be genuine. Let love be genuine. We are called to love everybody, and not that, oh, I'm so in love with you and I have to, and what the culture says, when you love somebody, you just agree with them and you just defend them no matter if they're right or wrong, and and you just drown yourself in them, and you just worship them, and no. God tells us exactly what love, according to him, looks like, and we talked about that on Monday. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not boast, right? All these things. I would encourage you to look back at that one if you are unsure what love looks like according to God. Let your love be genuine. Don't fake love, right? Don't be, quote unquote patient and kind, and then behind their back you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they just did that. Like, I am just so annoyed. How often do we find ourselves doing that? You're so nice to somebody's face, and then as soon as they're away, you're like, oh my gosh. No, don't do that. That is not genuine. Let your love be genuine. Abhor what is evil. Be against what is evil, right? Don't participate in what is evil. And what is evil is deception. It is slander. It is, it's selfishness. And it's pride. Don't do that. Don't fall into that trap. Hold fast to what is good. Love another with brotherly affection. Outdo one another in showing honor. Do not be slothful in zeal. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Outdo one another in showing honor. That doesn't mean like you need to be like super competitive, as in like, I do more than you, and I'm doing bigger things, and no. That means just keep going after it. Keep doing things to honor God and honor each other, right? Honor God first, but honor one another in your relationships. Do not be slothful in zeal. Lead by example. Lead by example. Be fervent in spirit. Serve the Lord. Find where God is calling you to serve. We are all called to a heart of service. Serve Him in your relationships. Find where He's calling you to serve and serve. Do it. Go after it. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in tribulation. Be patient when you're facing a hard time. Be constant in prayer. Contribute to the needs of the saints and seek to show hospitality. Have a generous heart. Have a generous heart. Oh, this is a hard one. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse them. If somebody wrongs you, that does not mean you put them on blast. If somebody hurts you or wrongs you or does something that you don't like, that does not mean that you go out and, oh my gosh, they're horrible. This is what they did to me. No. No, no, no. God, forgive them for they know what not they do, right? Know not what they do, tongue twister. Forgive them for they know not what they do. But also, just be with them, God. Whatever they may be facing, whatever they may be going through, I don't know what that is. I don't know what led them to this. And God, will you just be with them and help them and guide them in whatever part I can play in that, please? Help me to do that. And have a humble heart about it. If somebody wrongs you, somebody persecutes you, you know, my family, I talk about this a lot. My family, my dad, my siblings, they are very cruel about my relationship with God, about my faith. And I do not, you know, oh, you guys are horrible. I can't believe you. I can't even talk to you. No, I pray for them always. And I am always as kind and patient as I can be. Do I get it right all the time? No, I don't. But I will always pray for them. I do not talk smack. I am not cruel to them in return. I just purely pray for them and try to be the example that I can be, that God calls me to be in that relationship, in those relationships, right? That's what we're called to do. Just seek God out and pray over those relationships, even the tough ones, even those relationships where you are being slammed. Rejoice with those who rejoice, weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with the lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. I feel like those are just great instructions for like being humble, right? And listening. Our verse of the day, right? Here, we'll put it up here in chat again. Verse of the day here. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. James 1:19. So like those are some great instructions on how to do that. Sometimes you don't need to say anything. Sometimes you just need to rejoice with somebody. Sometimes you just need to weep with somebody. You need to comfort somebody, right? Live in harmony with one another. Get along, right? Whenever I have conflict going on, I always get this song in my head. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? And I'll just put it on blast, right? I put that up in chat sometimes in like game or something. I just all caps it. And it usually gets people to just calm down, right? Like even if they're just annoyed, they're just like, oh my gosh, make this stop, right? But live in harmony. Like let's make this world a more harmonious place, a more joyful place. Add to that aspect. Don't add to the prideful division, right? Let's not do that. Don't add to that. Never be wise in your own sight. Going back up, same thing. Don't be prideful. Don't put yourself on a pedestal. Don't think that you're better than somebody else. You aren't. We're all in this together, and we're all broken, sinful people. Repay no one evil for evil. I hear some very loud crinkling behind me. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. In other words, God knows that our first instinct is totally, in a lot of situations, it's going to be like a revenge mentality. Like, oh my gosh, they did this and I am gonna do this in return. Like, I catch myself sometimes like, if this happens, I'm gonna be so mad and da-da-da. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not. Like, don't get into that. Don't get sucked into those, like, if this bad thing happens, then I'm gonna do this bad thing, or I'm gonna be this angry, or, or I'm gonna lash out, or they're gonna get a piece of my mind. Like, no. That is, don't get yourself trapped up in that. Give thought. Think about how to be honorable in response. Think about how to be loving in response. If something bad happens, if something cruel happens, how can you honor God with your response? Give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. Dang, that's a good reminder. Oh, that's a good reminder. If possible, so far as it depends on you, do your part, right? Do what you are called to do. Do your part in this situation. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. You are not in control of other people. This is our like focal point right here. You are not in control of other people, how they respond, how they behave, what they believe, how they act, what they say, what they do. You're not in control of that. You're in control of how you respond, how you act, how you talk, what you say. You are in control of yourself. So, I love this verse. Oh, hiccup. If possible, so far as it depends on you, do your part to live peaceably with all. Do your part to bring peace into your relationships. Do your part. Focus on your part. Don't focus on other people's parts. Let them do their part, and you focus on doing yours. No matter what the other parts are doing, you focus on your part, because that is what you are called to do. And that is what you have control over, is the part that you play. So are you doing your part, or are you trying to do their part, or tell them how to do their part? No. Focus on your part. You do your part to live peaceably with all. That is our focal point in this whole thing, right there. Let's see if I broke our... Did I break the chapter verse spot? I think I did. Well, shoot. Yeah, when I was afraid of that when I switched. I forgot to check it, though. Oh, well. There you go. There's our focal point right there. If possible, so far as it depends on you. Your part. Do your part. Do what you can do. Don't try and take control of somebody else's part. Live peaceably with all. Do your part to live in peace. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God. Don't try to inflict revenge. You are not God. That is not your part to play, right? For it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. Just trust God with that. Trust God with that. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For by so doing, you will heap burning holes on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Always repay evil with good. Somebody else is mean to you, just be kind as you can possibly be in response. You are in control of how you respond, how you behave, how you talk, what you say, what you do. You are in control of that. Choose to do your part to be peaceful in your relationships, even with people who are mean to you, who are downright cruel to you. Do your part to be kind, to be loving, to be peaceful in all of your relationships. Remember, you're in relationship with everybody. You're even in relationship with the people that you don't like. That's still a relationship. And you have a choice to make, whether to be kind, whether to bring good into that relationship, or to just fuel that evil fire. Choice is yours. Choice is yours. Whew. I love Romans. It's such a good book. There's just so much in Romans. It's like, I don't really want to hear that, but I definitely need to hear that. I feel like this whole chapter is absolutely like that. Like, I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to be this way, but that's, again, do not be conformed to this world, right? Do not be conformed to what your natural human inclinations are. Don't do what you are naturally inclined to do. Do this instead. Remember, we are given instructions from God because we need to hear them. Because we are not naturally inclined to do these things, so we need the reminder. We need the reminder, right? They're not there just because it sounds nice. They are there because this is how we are legitimately called to live our lives. And it's totally possible. When you lean on God, when you have God, when you have Christ dwelling in you, you are transformed. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. I feel like that's one of those verses that I feel like everybody should just know by memory, right? Like maybe that'll be a challenge for us to just memorize that verse. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. That is Romans 12:2. Highly encourage you to write that down, put it on a sticky note on your, on the corner of your monitor or something. Highly encourage you to do that. Do not do what you're naturally inclined to do. Do what God is trying to transform you in. Let God transform you so that you are more naturally inclined to do what God calls you to do than you are to do what culture calls you to do, right? What your natural human instinct is to do.